So, step 5 we're on now. Step 5 is all about expectation. Now, when I was wealthy in my 20s, I wasn't particularly positive and I wasn't particularly grateful, and what I was very worthy, felt very worthy, and the other thing is I expected. I expected not only my needs to be met, but I expected to get what I wanted. I expected that to get what I wanted. And these, the last lesson, the worthiness, and the lesson today, expectation is the most important thing. Looking back at my time as being wealthy, the things that I was feeling that created my wealth, the way that I was being, the things that I was feeling, it was worthiness and it was expecting. It was expectation. Those are the only two things that I had in place at that time, along with what I'm going to talk about in the next step 2, which is kind of the practical things, the being a good custodian of money. Along with that, because I was good at that, and the other thing was the beliefs around money. All of that was in place, which I've already talked about with the release of all the rest of it. Okay, in step 3 that was. So, expectation is today. This is the inner feeling, apart from worthiness, that you need to be wealthy. And expectation, okay? Expectation. I expect my needs to be met. That is the expectation that I've had since I lost all my wealth. Now, that's the expectation that I had when I started losing all my wealth. Because I'd read these spiritual books and I had heard in them that we are supplied everything that we need by the universe. And I took on board all of the lack things that hippies and spiritual people were telling me and thought, well, I only deserve to have my needs met, but I know that the universe will sort out my needs. Okay? And so you've probably got the same kind of thing going on in you. I knew my needs would be met. I expected my needs to be met by the universe. Didn't particularly expect it to be easy. But yeah, expected it for my needs to be met. And of course, I manifested that. The universe gave it me because I expected my needs to be met. My needs have always been met. I haven't starved yet, and I haven't been homeless, and my basic needs that I believed in have always been met since I had that belief, and that expectation. So I expected to be housed. I expected to have a home. These were basic needs. I expected food and shelter. Pretty basic, huh? Survival needs. I expected... What else did I expect? Not much more than that, really. Bills. I expected to have electricity and water. Yeah, that was about it. That was about it, really. I didn't even expect a car. I didn't expect a car until my kids were with me, and then I expected a car because I needed to drive them around, and that's when I got a car. And so my basic needs were pretty low. I didn't expect new clothes, and the clothes that I came to this country with pretty much all fell apart, and didn't expect to be able to get more of them. So my clothes depleted, and my shoes especially. Like I had like one pair of shoes at one point, so I didn't expect new clothes. So my expectations were really low, but I expected my needs to be met, and they were. I just had really low expectations of my needs. Then my kids were with me, then I expected a car because I needed a car then, and they expected to have internet, and so I signed up for I got a computer Yeah, they expected the internet because they needed it for school, right? And so yeah, I remember it really clearly now. They needed it for school. Mum, we need it, but we need it for school. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to get a computer and get the internet. And what happened was, then a customer, when I realised that, a customer came along, because I was doing neurotherapy at the time, came along and bought one of my big packages, $2,000, for, I don't know, 10 sessions or whatever it was at the time, can't remember now. But she came along, paid me $2,000, pay up in front, which she got a really good deal for. Got her sessions cheaper than they were through that, and that gave me the money to get a computer. Wow, they were expensive back then, weren't they? They're not so expensive now. But yeah, it gave me the $2,000 to get a computer, and when I bought the computer, I signed up for the internet then. So that was another need, and of course, as soon as it became a need, and I had the expectation all my needs are met by the universe, the money came in. Can you see how this expectation thing works now? Like when I was telling you in the last lesson, I signed up for a class about business, and then she told me, are you sat at your at a dining table now without even an office? If so, you're just playing at your business. You haven't really got a business. Get serious about it. Get an office. Get the things that you need. Then that was included in my needs. All of a sudden, I'm like, I believe her. That's my needs. That's my business needs. I need this. And when that was added into my needs, what happened? The universe provided, because it was part of my needs. But when you have this expectation that just your needs are met, then you've got to try and make everything a need. And as soon as something's a need, then you'll allow the universe to give it to you. And then the universe will give it to you. So that's quite limiting, because it's hard to convince ourselves that something's a need when it's just a want. What about a holiday? Here you go. What about a holiday? Is a holiday a need? I don't know. You could convince yourself that it's a need if you get yourself to the point of being completely worn out. Then you could convince yourself that a holiday is a need, and then the universe could provide it for you. I haven't been able to manifest a holiday in the last few years. I haven't had a holiday at all because it's never been a need, because I don't do my business in that way. I don't ever wear myself out anymore. I created a need. I know that I need to have plenty of time, plenty of space to be creative, plenty of time meditating, plenty of spare time just doing what I want in order to be able to do this kind of stuff that I do. And so there you go. That's why I haven't been able to manifest a holiday. And I ride my bike as well, so I've not been able to manifest a car because that's not in my group of needs. Okay, so here's the problem. The problem that I've got right in this moment that I'm realizing and I'm changing from this day onwards is that my expectation, first of all, that just my needs are met. It didn't sound like that in my expectation. It's my needs will be met by the universe. But to me, that means basic needs. It's whatever I declare as something that I really need in order to survive or in order to keep doing what I'm doing, then it gets met. So that's faulty in the first place. I need to expect, and you need to expect, to receive everything that you want. Everything that you want. And needs are part of what you want, of course. Everyone wants their needs to be met. And so that's the first one. Change that. Change that expecting your needs to be met to expecting your wants to be met. And then you need to start expecting your wants to be manifest, to be given to you. You need to start expecting to receive your needs from the universe. And so, here's another exercise for your journal. Where is it? This is your expectation declaration. Rules the nation. Okay, so this is what I wrote today. I did it this morning after I had this amazing aha moment. My expectation declaration. So I want you to write that down in your journal or wherever you want to write it down. And start to write down everything that you expect. I'm going to expect the best of the best. I expect everything I want. I expect my wants to be given to me. I expect $1,000 a day. I expect launches to buy me cars. I expect an amazing man. I expect amazing friends. I expect to be a millionaire. I expect a Porsche Carrera convertible in white. I expect $10,000 a week. I expect massive bonuses. I expect people to promote me. I expect ease. I expect help. I expect support. I expect to receive. I expect $2,000 today. I expect magnificence. And so keep going with the things that you expect. Like, I've picked out things that are particularly important to me at the moment to accept into my life, to start receiving into my life. But it might be totally different for you. But write those things down, and it might not seem true to you at first when you write them down. But again, just like your worthiness declaration, I want you to write them all down anyway. And read through them and keep on reading through them. Again, this is something that you probably want to do at least once a month, and write your expectations down, because again, this is a big one that we've been limiting ourselves with. This big belief that we've been limiting ourselves with is how little we've expected, and we need to really increase that, because it's the expectation that manifests. That's it. It's the expectation that manifests. It's not anything else. It's the expectation. And whether it's visualization or any of the other things that work, it's the expectation that sets it into working. It's what you will. It's the belief that you have around your expectation that is really important. And so we need to instill that belief in you. And you can do that. You could read this expectation list, your expectation list, into a mirror, into your eyes, and over again to really get it in there. That I expect my wants to be delivered. I expect to receive my wants. I expect to receive everything that I want. And then I expect to, and then all of your separate expectations that are in your expectation declaration. What else? Important to listen to your inner guidance with this as well, of what feels good, what doesn't feel good, especially around the expectation stuff. Like, it might be totally different to you. Like, some people would, like, I expect to be a multimillionaire. I really do. Like, the stuff that I do and my role and all the people that I can teach and the stuff that I can teach them, I know that I've got this huge role, and I know that I'm worthy of it, and I know I'm going to be a multimillionaire from it. But it may not be that way for you. Like, you might tune into that and it not be right for you. Maybe you're not a leader like I am. Maybe you're not going to do something that's going to be huge in the world. Maybe you're going to do something that's really aligned with you, that's going to help a certain number of people, or we've all got different paths, and we really need to tune into our inner guidance system to stay on those paths. I know some of you that in the inner circle are leaders too. I know that. And so when you tune into a lot of the things that I say, they're going to resonate with you. You're going to feel good about that, and listen to that. Listen to how you're feeling inside, and know whether something's right for you or not. Not everyone is going to be a multimillionaire. Not everyone needs to be a multimillionaire. And that doesn't mean that you should stop going for it if that's what you really want now. But just do what's right for you. Do what's right for you, but don't listen to the lies anymore that you've been told that you shouldn't really want these things, or that you're actually wrong to want these things. Find out what that truth is for you, and you'll find it through listening to your inner guidance system, listening to what's true for you, listening to what feels really good for you. Now, you've come quite a way through this process, and so stuff that will have made you feel bad before due to lies will start to make you feel good. So you'll be really getting much more aligned with your higher self now with respect to wealth in this process, and so you can trust more and more your inner guidance system and how you feel. For instance, something that makes you feel guilty doesn't make you feel good, right? But guilt, that's not like a true emotional guidance system thing. Guilt is not something that is that you need to feel about anything, and so guilt is kind of a false one. It's like anger as well. Anger is like a false one too. It's once you started healing yourself and clearing these things out, then you don't feel guilty anymore. You don't feel angry towards things anymore, and you can actually feel the true feelings about something, as whether it makes you feel good or not. For instance, multimillionaires might have made you feel angry before, until you've done all this clearing work and you've been releasing those beliefs about whatever beliefs you had about multimillionaires or bad people, or they rip people off, or whatever it was that you learned about that. And now when you tune into it, you might feel good about that, being about multimillionaires and about being a multimillionaire. And so that's your truth. So it might seem that your inner guidance is telling you that you don't want something, it's just that there's more healing work to do. That's what I'm trying to get at. There might just be more healing work to do. In the truth of it, we are all here to live amazing and magnificent and abundant lives. The universe is here to give us everything that we want. Any kind of situation, any kind of an experience, any kind of a lesson, any kind of a gift, any kind of anything that we want. It is completely equally to everyone, open to giving us whatever we want. And we are here to live abundant lives. Nobody came here to live poverty. Nobody. And the only reason that we have lived it is to learn from it, just like I did. Like, I don't regret it at all. I don't regret the last however many years it's been, 14 years of the decline and then the poverty and that. I don't regret any of it at all, because it's given me this information of really understanding it. And so if any of us decided to come here and live a life of poverty, or live a bit of poverty, is to get complete clarity on what doesn't work, to head us in the direction. It's that whole contrast thing again, to head us in the direction of abundance, of true abundance, of wealth, which is what we all want. Everyone can be wealthy on this planet. Everyone. Like, there's no need for anyone to be in poverty, but we can only get ourselves out of it, because it's what the universe responds. It's the way that the universe responds to us. We're creating it all, and you can't do it for anyone else. As much as you might want to try and save someone, bring them out of poverty, you can't, and you can only do it for yourself. So don't feel bad about anyone else, and don't focus on anyone else. Yes, people have it worse than you, but if you do it in yourself, then they're going to do it too. It's like lifting the vibration of the world up to abundance. And I'll just give you an example of that, because I've got a really good example of how you cannot do it for anyone else. My partner, Jared, and we broke up 2 months ago now. And because I had guidance that there was no more growth to be had. Now, when we were together, we met each other. He had a job. He was in a bit of debt. He had a low-paying job. I was massaging at the time. I'd just come back from being in Europe. I've been travelling around Europe and doing a bit of work around there. And before I'd gone to Europe, I'd got rid of all my furniture, because I wasn't sure whether I'd be back here or what I was doing. So when he met me, I didn't have anything much. Any furniture or anything like that. I got rid of it all to travel, and I was just massaging, so I wasn't making a great deal of money. In fact, no, I'd stopped working at a place. I was renting a treatment room out and massaging from there, and I decided to leave there because there was a really angry hippie there that didn't like my abundance, that resented me being busy all the time with clients. And she was just so aggressive and horrible to me that I decided it's not even worth working there anymore, because I don't want to feel like that with people like that around. She thought I was somehow feeling or trying to steal clients or something. She had no idea that I was just manifesting it. Anyway, so when I met him, I wasn't earning anything apart from private clients that would call me for a massage or healing or whatever. So I was really only just getting by, like worse than ever at that point. And I was living in a share house, and my friend who had that house had fallen out with me because I told her a truth that she didn't like when she was going off at her children, and I couldn't allow it to carry on and her fooling herself so much anymore. And she didn't like that much me speaking out about her behaviour, so she told me, you need to move out. And so that was the state I was in when I met Jared. He had a low paying job. I was had very little, like the least that I've had for a long time. And we got together and I moved in with him straight away instead of finding somewhere else to stay, because we realised that we'd just be spending all of our time together. And we spent the last 6 years together. It didn't take me long to get back to my abundant self. Well, when I say abundant self, I mean get back to manifesting my needs and having plenty of clients and stuff like that. Plenty of clients, but not charging them very much, so that I was still just getting by, but increasing my standards. And so within, 6 months of us getting together in this tiny little apartment that he had, I said, come on, we need a bigger place than this. I'm working from home, you're going to start writing your books, we need a bigger place than this. And so manifested this amazing house by the beach, 3-bedroom place, which was gorgeous. I moved into that, and the rent shot up from, 200 a week to 600 a week, but we managed it. And then started upgrading everything else. This is something that I've done plenty of times before. I've given up all of my possessions twice in my life, and I'd manifested great houses and manifested all the furniture for it, and I have this expectation of luxury, of really nice places. I've got that expectation for myself. I really love luxury. I really love living in beautiful places, and so I keep on manifesting that. So that was easy for me. Meanwhile, he was just kind of staying where he was. I think he was kind of lulled into a false sense of me because I was down there when I met him, and I quickly got myself up anyway. And I thought that he, through my instruction and coaching of him, was coming up with me. But now I look back and he wasn't at all. He was staying where he was. And so I was manifesting this great house and, getting all the furniture for it and everything. And teaching him and telling him, it's like, oh, this is how you can do it. And he started riding his kid's butt, which, hardly any have sold, and he's not made any money from it. And he gave up his job at a time, but then had to go back and keeps on going back to minimum wage jobs all the time. And he just wasn't coming with me. He wasn't coming with me at all on this journey, no matter how much I tried. Whoa, I tried so hard. I was teaching him, I was coaching him, I was helping him with his business, I was doing everything that I possibly could to get him to come along with me on this abundance ride, and he just wouldn't. And it showed, like when he moved out, I'm going to move out of this place soon to another place where I want to be. But when he moved out, it really showed, because he took his furniture, which was just shelves and clutter, really. It's a lot of DVDs, it's a lot of CDs, it was a sound system, and it was, that was it. I let him have a bed, like I'd got a spare bed, and I let him have a bed, and I let him have one of the TVs. But it was when we were kind of dividing stuff up that I realised that I had bought pretty much everything in here. And that's when I realised, wow, I manifested this house. Like, we moved from the old house by the beach to this house by a canal. Rent went up to $800 a week. And I'd been doing it all, and I hadn't realised that he hadn't come with me, and it became really clear when he was moved out. And so if I, being the teacher that I am, and totally focused on these things, and him having access to all of my material, all of the books that I've bought, all of the courses I've ever done, all the meditations that I've got, he had access to it all, and it made no difference. I did healings with him. I took him through letting go of his family stuff, because a reason that he stays in this state is a lot to do with his family. And I did all that with him and it made no difference. And so, does that release you from this idea that you should maybe be helping other people that have it worse than you first? Because it doesn't. You can't do it. You can't do it. If I can't do it with somebody that's in my house that I'm spending most of my time with, then you can't do it for anyone else. You can't do it for anyone else. So just focus on yourself and know that you're increasing the abundance vibe in the universe or on this planet, and that everyone's going to benefit from that. Yeah, if you are in a room, if you're in a poverty vibe, and there's 2 people in poverty vibe in that room, and there's 8 people that are multimillionaires in that room, you're not going to stay in the poverty vibe for very long. You're not. And that's exactly how it is on the planet. At the moment on the planet, we're in a complete poverty vibe, like lack, and resources are running out, and oh, isn't it terrible, and oh, debt, and yeah, banks being all horrible, and there's so much poverty and lack going on. And there's a little bit of abundance going on. And the more we all get on the abundance side of that seesaw, when we tip it, and imagine how fast it gets to be tipped if all the spiritual people that are working on themselves get to do it now, because they've understood that the lies that were holding them from it, then imagine just how fast we can change things. And not only that, but imagine people like you and me having wealth. With power comes with wealth, because wealth comes from power. The things that I've been telling you about empower you. And empowerment is about standing in your power, in your personal power. And when you're in your personal power, wealth comes to you. And wealth comes to you and it gives you more power. Like, it's not the wealth that gives you power, but wealth is like in the middle of the sandwich between power and power. When you're empowered in yourself in this way, and you know how to get wealth, and you know how to get the things in your life, and you know how to do what it is that you really want to do, and then you will attract the wealth, and that gives you power. And so I just wanted to clear that up, because people have kind of connected wealth with power as it being a wrong thing, but it's not a wrong thing. Because imagine people like you and me having that power, having the wealth and the power. Imagine the good that we could do in the world. Just imagine that. This is why I want to be a multimillionaire. Not just because I'm worthy of it and because I want to have an amazing life and I want to have all the options and be able to do and meet all the people that I want to meet and travel anywhere that I want to go and live in luxury and have a great car and all of that stuff. Not just that, but I could do so much with a lot of money. I could put things in place that will change the world completely. My passions in particular for that are putting in a proper health system throughout the world. Not a sickness system, not doctors, not all of that crap. A proper health and well-being system that everyone has access to in the world. That's what's really important to me. I could do that, and it would take billions to do that, but I could do that, and I will get those billions to do it. The other thing that's really important to me, and I don't know why really, but electricity and power. It's like, why are we still not using renewable stuff? It makes no sense whatsoever. When there is technology out there for us to have free power, for everyone in the world to have free power, free electricity, it's nobody doing it. It's just crazy. And so I would like to do that as well, or help somebody who has that passion to do that themselves as well. And that's really important to me. So think of the things that you could do with a lot of money as well, things that you want to change in the world. And instead of complaining about them or thinking that someone else should do that, or why haven't they done that, is own it and say, okay, well, this is going to take a lot of money, universe, and I'm willing to do it. And as I said, I think it was in the previous lesson, about my experiences when I was earning a lot of money, when I was making a lot of money, it wasn't hard work. And it's not hard work. It's not hard work to get that amount of money. It's not hard work to instigate these things and create these things in the world. It's easy. When you're in the flow and when you're working with the universe, it's really, really easy, not a struggle. Okay. So I kind of went a bit on a tangent there. Back to where we were. We were talking about expectation, raising your expectation. that's it. Your lesson for today is changing your mind about what you expect, is expecting so much more, and declaring what your expectations are now, and that you expect to be given what you want, not just what you need. What you need goes without saying, like survival needs just goes without saying. Okay, so come along to the next step when you're ready, and I'm going to talk about the more practical things about being a good custodian of money. See you next